South African High Commission building. A 98-year-old widow gets her land back after a 40-year dispute. And in sports, Yanga start the Vodacom Premier League on the wrong foot after a 1-0 defeat against River Shooting. Good evening, this is Capital News at 9:30. My name is Vanessa Victor. Let's start off with the national news. Dar es Salaam Special Zone Police Force has arrested 3 people for organizing an illegal demonstration at the South African High Commission building, which was held in protest against the South African High Court directive to seize an ATCL plane. The demonstrators were seen holding placards with various messages and singing songs demanding the release of the plane before they were dispersed by the police.
The police has asked us to move to Gymkhana when the embassy is right here. What we've come to do is to make sure that our aeroplane is released. The very country holding our aeroplane, we've helped its people in the past. We bought that with our own money. Honorable President has worked so hard to make this possible. We will not leave this place until it is released. We ask for someone to come out and tell us what is going on. We are Tanzanians. We love peace. All we are asking for is to be told what is going on.
We received information that there were some people who were intending to hold demonstrations heading to South African embassy as a Tanzanian reaction following Air Tanzania plane impounded in South Africa. As the police force, we don't allow demonstrations. That's when I contacted officer in charge of Field Force Unit and Ilala District Police Commander to take immediate measures in stopping the demonstrations and arrest those who orchestrated the demonstrations. So far, the minister in charge is in South Africa taking care of the matter. Everybody needs to remain calm since the government is in control. Let me take this opportunity to remind my fellow Tanzanians to abide to country's law.
The Minister of Land, William Lukuvi, has ended a 40-year-old land dispute between a 98-year-old widow, Nancy Muluo, and more than 100 illegal invaders at Sinoni Ward in Arusha by directing them to pay the woman more than 500 million shillings as compensation.
We have done estimation for you to pay lower prices that the poor people can manage on all approved areas to pay 20,000 shillings per square meter. The value of land in Arusha town is 50,000 shillings. The government has pardoned you because we know your situation. I'm not employed. I depend on donations. In a period of 3 months, that amount of money is a lot. This country is governed by law. The government has no ability neither of cancelling nor amending court's ruling. The court has given the ruling towards this lady's issue, and we have been given order by the court to demolish all who have invaded her territory. DC has been directed to supervise the exercise, but the Fifth Race government, we are pleading for those responsible not to fulfill such orders. I'm an old woman, and I thank the minister for helping me.
The government of Japan has allocated $20 billion to African countries in order to enable them to implement strategic development plans which will bring about economic changes. The statement was made by the Prime Minister of Japan, Shinzo Abe, during the opening of the 7th TICAD conference in Yokohama, also attended by Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa of Tanzania on behalf of President Dr. John Magufuli.
Japani katika muda wa miaka mitatu ijayo itatoa.
In the coming 3 years, Japan will have a budget of 20 billion for investments in Africa, with the aim focused to be on creativity, science and technology that will be beneficial to African countries. For the first time, the meeting will come up with Yokohama Declaration that will strategize its implementation pace.
Kwanza tutakuwa na azimio la Yokohama, lakini kwa mara ya kwanza pia tutakuwa na mpango kazi wa Yokohama.
The President of Zanzibar and Chairman of the Revolutionary Council, Dr. Ali Mohammed Shein, has directed the Ministry of Health to ensure the employment system for experts benefits locals. He gave the directive during a meeting with executives from the Ministry of Health at State House in Zanzibar.
If you want a certain number of nurses, do send your requirements and specific qualifications to the Public Servants Commission, who will communicate with the Ministry of Finance in order to cross-check their annual salary and complete other administrative matters. If you will take few people once in a while, then in a certain period of time, many people will be employed. Honorable Chairman, I would like to congratulate the government for ensuring that there is enough availability of medicines, where up to now 92% of all needed medications are available and accessed easily in the country. This is a big achievement, including completion of a new laboratory building for the chief government chemist and availability of DNA test machines.
A lorry carrying coal is overturned along the Songea and Jombe Road near the offices of Ruvuma Regional Commissioner and Songea District Commissioner. The lorry driver, Pim Reginald, had his license seized by the police after being found drunk and for causing the accident.
This driver here was the one driving the lorry. And as you can see him, he is suffering from a hangover. The driver had been drinking this alcoholic liquor, K-Vent, and we suspect that he was drinking either this drink or another one. In any case, the K-Vent alcoholic drink has been banned. The driver is a resident of Moshi and he had been driving this lorry which was carrying coal from Kitai and was headed to Kajiado in Kenya. I would like to say that as the driver was turning the corner, he encountered another car which he could not pass.
Ambao wanadhani kwamba usiku ni salama kwao, haitakuwa ni salama.
I would like to warn all those who feel that driving recklessly at night will offer them protection. Let me state clearly that the night will not provide them with any safety. I would like to say that this police operation started in Tunduru, where we arrested a man who was driving a commercial passenger bus while drinking beer.
And international environment stakeholders have commended the government of Tanzania for taking deliberate measures to improve conservation of natural resources such as elephants and rhinos, who were among wild animals facing the threat of becoming extinct. They gave the tribute during the Convention on International Trade in Endangered Species, CITES, conference in Geneva, Switzerland.
Tanzania, of course, the wildlife are facing a variety of threats, from poaching to human-wildlife conflict, also, habitat loss and degradation. And these are not challenges unique to the Tanzanian communities and the government. These are the contemporary challenge to every country and every community that lives with wildlife. And so ecotourism, especially non-consumptive tourism, has a huge potential. And I hope and I know that the government of Tanzania is actively working to promote non-consumptive tourism. And I applaud that effort, and I encourage the Tanzanian government and communities to continue towards that track.
Our presence here is very important as we participate in decision-making on conservation activities, as well as finding ways forward towards sustainable conservation of plant resources. The secret why many plants have been involved in the CITES contract is because of unsustainable consumption of the resource. This has reinforced motives towards combating efforts in making sure that these resources would be available even to the coming generations. It is important to have enough information on the value of these natural resources. As responsible bodies, we are responsible in sending right information so that the resources can sustain for the coming generation too.
The managing director of NBC Bank, Theobald Sabi, has toured IPP Media House and witnessed various operation and production activities on news and programs, after which he commended them for their professionalism.
Siku ya leo tumepata nafasi ya kutembelea ITV.
Today we got a chance to visit ITV studios, where we saw processes involved in preparing and airing news and programs of ITV, Capital TV, Radio 1, Capital Radio and East Africa Radio. And workers of ITV for the good job that is done by the station.
East Africa Radio, East Africa TV.
And that's all for national news. International news is next. And in international news, the government of Uganda has suspended its plan to construct a hydropower dam at Murchison Falls National Park along the Nile River. The move comes after pressure from environment activists opposing the project, despite the Energy Authority in the country saying it would have enabled production of 2,550 megawatts of electricity.
Hydropower is very good. Let me tell you, 360 megawatts of power is great. But you have to now argue as an economist, could this be located elsewhere for us to maintain the foreign exchange earnings from tourism that would be lost if this investment continued? On the current knowledge, this project is halted. But in future, if new knowledge, if new technologies, if new changes happen, there should be a detailed study to be the basis of a decision.
And the government of China said that it will help the Democratic Republic of Congo in the fight against Ebola, and that it was ready to work with the Ministry of Health in controlling the disease that has killed more than 1,940 people in the country, many of them women and children.
The government is taking its responsibility to ensure the virus is fought everywhere and by everyone.
In Germany, political leaders are holding their breath ahead of key elections this weekend. The far right is expected to win big at the expense of mainstream parties like Angela Merkel's Conservatives. The vote in two eastern states is seen as a litmus test for the political situation at the national level. For more, we're joined by William Glucroft, our political correspondent, with our partner, Deutsche Welle in Berlin. William, First off, give us a preview of what we can expect from the election on Sunday.
Well, it's expected to be quite a show on Sunday. The AfD has been surging in the polls in these two states in former East Germany and Eastern Germany, the states of Brandenburg, which surrounds Berlin, and the state just south of that, Saxony. The AfD has long been very strong in these states, and in Brandenburg especially, they could come out in first place, although the Social Democrats, who currently rule the state, and as you may be aware, are the junior party to Angela Merkel's coalition in the national government, they've been rising in the polls and may just eke out a victory. Now, it's important to note that regardless who comes in first place, that doesn't necessarily mean they will run the government or be in government. Even if the far right does extremely well, as they're expected to, there still is a negotiation process of a coalition of parties, and the other parties have so far refused to work with the far right Alternative for Germany party, which means what the coalition might end up looking like in these two states is anybody's guess.
So why are these state elections getting so much attention at the national and international level?
Well, two reasons, really. State elections in general in Germany are, you can say, on the road to national elections. They take place in between national elections. The next one is scheduled for 2021 at the federal level for the Bundestag, the German parliament. And state elections are seen as every once in a while a chance to take the temperature, as we might say, of what people are thinking and how they're feeling about politics in general at the national level. So that's generally speaking. More specifically, these two states in eastern Germany, they're run by the parties that also run the government at the national level. Angela Merkel's Christian Democrats in Saxony and her junior coalition partner, the Social Democrats, in Brandenburg. So these two state elections are seen as quite a good parallel to how things might be at the national level, to see how people feel about these major parties that are running the national government.
And what explains the popularity of the far right?
Well, of course, the simple answer is racism and xenophobia, which many members of the AfD and the party itself has shown itself to be. But racism and xenophobia is more a symptom of a larger economic situation. The former East has long been lagging behind the West, although it's doing much better than it was, say, 30 years ago when the East joined the West in the Germany we know of today, the unified Germany. It still lags the West in terms of incomes and pensions, in a higher unemployment rate. And people feel, many people in the eastern part of Germany, especially in these two states, they feel like they're still losing out to where the main power is, the main political power, which they see as still being very much in the hands of Western Germans. So this sense of disenfranchisement, this sense of dissatisfaction, this is something that the AfD is able to make a profit off of quite strongly, and this is able to stir up feelings of racism, feelings of xenophobia, feelings of suspicion of outsiders, which the AfD has been very good at maximizing, and this is one way to help understand why the AfD, specifically in eastern parts of Germany, is able to do so well.
Well, thank you very much, William, for explaining to us why this is so important, and I'm sure I'll be talking to you very soon. And that is all for international news. Business news follows this break.
Watch Business Edition as we talk to business leaders and experts in sectors that are transforming Tanzania's economy.
To be rich, I have to be a business person.
It's not an easy road at all.
People need to understand. You must quickly think, how cost effective are you going to be?
Business acts as a way in which it can bridge that gap.
Business Edition will keep you informed on latest developments in the financial sector, extractive industry, tourism, agriculture, energy, construction, and so much more. Meet entrepreneurs who create employment opportunities. Watch Business Edition on Friday at 8:15 p.m.
Welcome back, and in business news. The government has announced the new fertilizer prices expected to come into effect on the 1st of September. Announcing the new prices in Dar es Salaam, the Minister of Agriculture, Japhet Hasunga, said they will be charged for fertilizer bags weighing 5 kg, 25 kg and 50 kg.
The set price for fertilizer in Dar for regions in the east, west, south and north zones will be between 51,059 and 60,300 shillings. For regions in the west, southern highlands, lake zones, the price will be between 57,000 and 63,000 shillings.
Bei elekezi itakuwa kati ya shilingi 57,000 na 63,000.
And tourism stakeholders have commended the government for construction of inspection centres for vehicles used in safaris established in various tourist attraction areas. They said that this has reduced frequent stops during safaris to national parks.
Explanations were given on the authorities' responsibilities in this area, one of which was to ensure cleanliness, and I think we have all witnessed the ongoing state of cleanliness. We were also meant to look after the environment, and today, as you can see, there is a lot of dust, which we have prioritized. These are all areas we'll give reports on for our guests to have something to do while their vehicles are being inspected. We have spoken to a stakeholder from Leopard Tours in our last tourism meeting, and he promised to set up cameras on all tourist inspection centers so that the chairman of the board can look and see how the centers are doing from anywhere.
African Development Bank AFDB has expressed satisfaction on implementation of a project against aflatoxin, a disease which affects maize and peanut crops in some regions of mainland Tanzania and Zanzibar.
Every 6 months, we sit down to see how we are doing. The aim of these meetings is to see where we are and if we are doing as planned within the project, and if not, we discuss what to do to resolve the issue. Because there has been a flow of information on both formally and informally, it has helped us forge ahead. This is a good sign that we can complete our project and meet the intended goals.
And that's all for business news. Sports is next.
Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment of going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's being dragged through to second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Away first time, good start from Bolt. Bolt leading a moment of going away. Gay trying to go with him, and he's being dragged through to second place, but he's going to win it by 2 meters. Joaquinho, he did lose to Lend.
And in sports, the CAF Champions League's representatives of Tanzania Young African Sports Club have started the Vodacom Premier League on the wrong foot after failing to a 1-0 defeat at the hands of Ruvu Shooting. The only goal of the game was scored by Sadat Mohammed in the 21st minute. The King of the Boxing final will take place on September 15th at the Buckets Hall in Dar es Salaam, with the organizers saying they will introduce more competitions involving other regions in the future.
Fight, which we aim on finding someone as King of the Ring in Tanzania.
How many districts you are joined in King of the Ring?
In this stage, all the districts in Dar es Salaam, they are joined, but as a future plan, we will include all the regions in Tanzania. A vision is to promote the boxing as a sport which is liked by the most of the youths in Tanzania and in the world. That is our aim. We need to promote it to a stage that everyone will understand and will acknowledge that this is also a sport.
Nick Kyrgios has accused the ATP of being corrupt in the aftermath of his US Open first-round win over American Steve Johnson at Flushing Meadows. Here is the report.
The tennis firebrand was asked what he thought about being fined a record $113,000 for a spectacular meltdown in Cincinnati this month. The ATP is pretty corrupt anyway. I'm not fused about it at all, he said in a development that will almost certainly force the governing body of men's tennis to suspend the Australian, having already said it was considering such a move. US Open officials had given Kyrgios the green light to play the final Grand Slam of the year, despite tennis chiefs continuing to weigh up whether or not the temperamental talent should be suspended for his latest outburst in Cincinnati. Believed to be the biggest fine in the sport's history, Kyrgios was slapped with separate penalties for inaudible obscenity, ball abuse, verbal abuse towards the umpire, leaving the court, and 4 counts of unsportsmanlike conduct during his explosive second-round loss to Karen Khachanov.
International have finally reached a deal to sign Alexis Sanchez on a loan from Manchester United. Here are more details.
The two clubs have been discussing a possible deal for several weeks now, and a breakthrough is negotiation day saw the reaching of an agreement. Sanchez's loan is believed to be for 10 months, and Inter do not have an option to buy, although the Serie A club will pay £175,000 of Sanchez's £390,000 weekly salary. The 30-year-old will have his medical in Milan. Today, Sanchez joined United as part of the deal that saw Henrik Mkhitaryan sign for Arsenal in January 2018, but he has failed to make any impact at Old Trafford.
And that sports item ends our news bulletin. My name is Vanessa Victor. Thank you for watching and good night.